Are you sick of buying ketchup with all the gross, yucky corn syrup and other crap? Well, I'm gonna show you to make some delicious ketchup. So to start off, we're going to be needing tomatoes. Now, you could use your basic paste tomatoes. Now, I never use just paste tomatoes. I use whatever tomatoes I grow. You could use any you get from the store. So it's just up to your personal opinion and what you have available. I like to just use what I got. So I usually just grow a whole bunch of stuff and I use it for whatever tomato products that I'm going to be needing. So I grew a whole bunch of different varieties and that's what I'm using. Now you can see all my tomatoes are pretty frozen. That's because tomatoes are pretty forgiving. I put them into the freezer because at the time I just did not have the energy willpower at the end of this. We were hunting to be able to do it all then. So we're gonna do it now because I just ran out of ketchup yesterday. Well, actually I ran out a little while ago. I did not know that. But I found it yesterday when I needed to cook and I didn't have any ketchup. So we're gonna make some new stuff. So I made this about 2 years ago and I still have plenty, or I've had plenty until now. Now we don't eat a whole lot of ketchup in our family. We do, but I do use it in a lot of recipes. We'd rather do like barbecue sauce, which maybe I should do that soon. Let me know down below. But we're just gonna be doing it. I like to keep the seeds in. I like to keep the peels. We're gonna make this as simple and easy as possible. So I need first 25 pounds of tomatoes. I'm gonna measure that out on my scale. I'll probably just do like different pieces, like different batches, like 10 pounds each. And then slowly put it into my slow cooker. So you could do it in your slow cooker. Now, a few years ago when I did this, I actually just used a big stock pot, and I don't love my stock pot. It burns things a lot, and it burned my ketchup when I did it. Now, you know, the normal person would just throw it out, but I didn't want to waste. So I ended up keeping all of it, and since it was in recipes, it kind of just gave it more. The recipes, you didn't really taste the burnt, and if you tried it like individually, it just tasted like a little more smokier. So it wasn't horrible. So if something like that happens, just know it doesn't have to be a waste. You can still use it in recipes and stuff like that. So just this little tip as well. So I'm just gonna cut my tomatoes, and you can cut them up a little bit, but again, they're frozen, so they're a little bit harder to do that. So I'm just cutting off any big blemishes, but it doesn't have to be perfect either. And I'll just start measuring that out, and then I'll show you guys our next step. So I originally saw this recipe on Living Traditions Homestead, so kind of going off that and different stuff that I know and learn in this video. So I cut up the onions as well, so I did 3 cups of onions into here. Now you can see it made me cry, so I already put them in here, the lid's on. But they made me cry really bad. My makeup kind of fell off. But I'm gonna let this cook down. I'm gonna put the lid on it so it really helps it kind of keep the heat in. We're gonna keep it on low for a little bit, especially since all the tomatoes are frozen and they didn't really let them defrost. I wanna let them, you know, kind of get some moisture into there, so there's some moisture in the bottom. What I'll kind of do is we wanna be able to cook these tomatoes down. We don't want a runny ketchup. We want this to be a nice, thick consistency. So what I'll do is kind of let this kind of just cook down low, kind of slowly let the heat rise. And then what I like to do too is a little bit over time, take some of the liquids and just take them out. Just helps speed up the process, but you can just let them cook as long as you want as well. So I'm gonna let this go down and we'll come back in a little bit and I can show you guys the next steps. Okay, our tomatoes have been cooking down. Now we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients. So first off, we're gonna need 2 cups of sugar. Now I like to use 100%, or I like to use pure cane sugar. I just get this from Costco, but you could use any of the other sweeteners that you like as well. Then I'm gonna do 3 cups of vinegar, half normal white vinegar, and then half apple cider vinegar. Put our vinegar in here. The next thing we're gonna add is 1/4 cup of salt. Now you don't want your iodized salt. You want to get like a pink salt, Celtic salt. I am using real salt here from Utah, which is a great all natural salt. There's a lot of extra like minerals and other healthy stuff in there. That's 1/4 cup of salt and 2 1/3 teaspoon of garlic powder. Now I'm putting everything into like measured containers, but you can put them straight into here. A teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of celery seed, and then 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder. I'm gonna add all the ingredients, mix it up, and then we're going to just let it cook down until it's really thick. I'm gonna end up putting it into the blender, or not even blender. I'm gonna put it into my food processor, and then I'll mix it up too, and then let it cook down even further. So it's a lot of cooking down, but we want a good thick mustard. We want a good thick ketchup, not a really thin one. Okay, so my ketchup has thickened up. This has gone down so much, but we are ready. So I have all my clean jars. I'm gonna fill them to the rim. So yeah, this has been going for about 2 days. Now I'm sure I could have done it in 1 day, but I did this on Saturday and I just didn't want to process it, finish it up yesterday. With it being Sunday, we had a lot with church and with family, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I just kept it on a pretty low heat and just kind of let it just slowly do its thing. Just been stirring it periodically, but just had this going like morning and night. And then, yeah, ran it through the food processor. But yeah, I got it really thick until it kind of had a slight, like, oh, what's it called? Slight peaks. It's not like your whipped cream peaks at all by any means. It kind of stays in place a tiny little bit. And so you kind of know it's ready to be like your special ketchup. So I'm gonna fill up these jars and then I'll show you guys the next step. All right, so I have filled all my jars up. I have 14 jars here. Now, depending on how much water you get out of these will be how much, you know, sauce. So if you have even thicker than I have, you're gonna get less, or runnier. But I feel like this is a good texture and all that, so we're gonna go with that. So I'm just taking my lids, my rings, and then putting them on. Now I reuse my lids. They work great. Every once in a while I have one that doesn't seal, but for the most part they do great. I'm just reusing them, just make sure that the ring is intact so it can seal up and it's all clean and all that. So I'm gonna do all these jars, and then I'm gonna go fill up my water bath canner outside and get these canning. I'm gonna do it so I'll put them into my water bath canner and cover them with water, and then I'm gonna let them go for 25 minutes just because of our elevation. If you're down by sea level, I believe it's like 15. So that's kind of what we're going off of. So I'm gonna keep covering these all, or putting lids on, and then go to the canner, and I will see you guys soon. All right, so after these were done boiling, after they started boiling, I let them go for about 25 minutes. I think honestly longer, because I wasn't monitoring them super close. Because it was cold last night, it was late, we're trying to make dinner, and then the propane went out and we had to redo it. But I like doing it out here and doing this because it just is a little better than the house and everything's like cluttery. So I just let these sit out overnight. Honestly, that's how I usually do things when I can, is I just let them sit because I don't always have time with kids to pull them off right away. But this is our finished ketchup. You can see they're sealed. You want to be able to take rings off with it. Like I usually take them off after 24 hours. Make sure they all sealed up, which this one's did. We're all good. And you can see these are just reused caps. Like this one right here, ketchup from 2023. Now ketchup from 2025. So hopefully this was helpful. If you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with someone else you see. Share this with people who you think would be helpful. And let me know what you want to see me can or make next. So hopefully you guys have a great day, great night. God bless.